The life is really full of uncertainty. I never imagined that I will get the medal from NYU Shanghai. And actually, you know that there's lots of rumors about me. And one of the rumors that I graduated from United States University. Actually, I didn't. I came from a very remote, small town in southeast China. I wish that the chancellor here did not invite me just by the rumors. Actually, Professor and Chancellor Tong gave me the invitation several months ago. It is the very first I did not accept the invitation because I'm not so sure that I will be the right person standing here to give the graduation speech. And one small story I will tell you today is that one small thing changed my idea about accept or not, is that one day Professor Tong came to my office and he took a portrait of me in NYU graduate school clothes. The portrait was painted by one of the graduate student. And in that painting, I saw a different myself. It was young, handsome, and upbeat. So at the moment, I like the painting very much, and it's still in my office. And I make the decision. I will come here to do the graduation talk today. So I think it's an honor that to know, because today you brought me here, not just the chancellor's idea, I think. So I really appreciate that you give me the certainty that I can come here, give the speech, and help me to make the last decision. Actually, I came from, you know that, it's a so remote town, southeast China, 34 years ago, to Shanghai for college. I always think about how I grew up. The person like today I stand here from very long years ago. So in my remembrance, I know that my hometown in very ancient China, long years ago, actually the name of my hometown named Baiyue. In ancient China, many people migrated here, different nations migrated here in southeastern China, and the language in different villages is totally different. However, they have to communicate with each other. Then there's some very ancient language grow up there. So it looks like NYU Shanghai, I think. In ancient China, lots of people from different nations came the same site together, communicate. Just about 2,000 years ago, before China's first unified empire, you know that, the great Qing Empire, not the Qing dynasty, the Qing Empire, 2,000 years ago, it was founded. Before that, our land was finally incorporated in the Chinese civilization. So it's very amazing that today, the China, we are a big group, people from everywhere, and the civilization here merge. But amazingly is that 125 years ago, you know that, in It's 1896. The place began to introduce modern secondary school education to the small town. The students there began to learn English and math. You know that it's the time for Qing dynasty. 125 years ago, the people there, citizens there, the young there began to learn English and math there. At the moment, Chinese education and modern education began to join together in this remote small town. I graduated from the high school there, and when I graduated 34 years ago, I wanted to go further, to see a wider world. I went to Shanghai Medical College, which until today is a famous and a prestigious medical college in China. Today, the name is Fudan Shanghai Medical College. When I graduated, I began to be a physician and started my favorite career as a doctor. At that time, I made the choice for interest, but not for salary. Because until now, you know that Chinese doctors' salary have lagged far behind our American peers. While at the same time, you know that the Chinese business elite is already very close to its American peers, including the guest speaker who stand here last year. Is likely to earn more than most of his American peers. So this is a question about how would you make the choice in the future? It's not related with salary, I think. It should be related with your interest. So I think it's the first experience I hope to bring to today's graduate students is that after graduation, you will find a career that suits you. You will feel it, just like me. I major in infectious disease in medicine, specializing the treatment of disease caused by the microorganisms which live with us together in the world, just like the coronavirus, bacteria, everything. But sometimes the disease will be caused by such microorganisms. This major is a huge privilege as it allows me to learn the role of humans. We're just one of the species in the world. And I can look at the world as a whole. Each time, once I diagnose a new disease, I can learn more deeply about the nature. Due to the ever-changing of both nature and the human immune system, I will feel very anxious because it's so complicated. But I can feel that I am suitable for this job, for this task. So I think this feeling is not different from finding the right girlfriend or boyfriend like you. If you always feel that it's awkward in the future, I think it may not be your final suitable Mr. Right or Miss Right. I think the career is the same. Secondly, today I will communicate with you is that the world is full of uncertainty, just like Chancellor Tong mentioned. However, what I would say is that every time we struggle with the uncertainty, we will gain the power to grow up. So here I will mention about the COVID-19 last year. On January last year, our medical team dispatched 4 groups of doctors to assist Wuhan in fighting COVID-19. At the time, everything was full of uncertainty. We didn't know the disease very much at the very beginning. And the initial mortality of the disease is very high. Lots of people die. It was hard to predict what the future would be like. Thus, we were afraid at first when we received the signal for help. However, the professional honor of the career, doctor or nurse, made many of my colleagues in our team eventually signed up and boarded the train to Wuhan. The time was Chinese New Year's Eve that day. They were all both ordinary doctors, and meanwhile, they were heroes, I think. When they first went to Wuhan, the situation was very bad, but the power of teamwork finally defeated our fears and uncertainty. I stayed in Shanghai that time. I stayed here to lead the clinical team to find the virus here. Throughout the whole process, nevertheless, the emergency of local cases in Pudong district here, here, the normal courses of NYU Shanghai were not affected. Plenty of people appreciated my contribution to Shanghai, but I would like to say that the pandemic control in Shanghai is entirely from the cooperation of the team. Without the team in Shanghai, it's very hard to imagine that we would completely control the pandemic virus within 24 hours once there's a case. And we guarantee the city running well at the same time. So this is Shanghai style. I think it just depended on the cooperation of the team. The CDC works, the doctors, and everyone in this fighting. I believe that in the future, we will definitely encounter greater challenges of uncertainty. Cooperation and sacrifice are still our weapons to overcome all difficulties. The spirit of cooperation and teamwork cultivated by New York University, Shanghai will become the fundamental power for you to overcome all difficulties in the future. Since the beginning of the pandemic, I have discussed the prevention and the treatment of the disease with the experts from all around the world, from the United States, Europe, and other countries. Everyone was very impressive by the effectiveness of China's non-pharmaceutical interventions, but sometimes they will express different opinions. This is about how to make the balance between the life safety and the freedom, the individual freedom in the fighting against the pandemic. They asked me, why do you make the decision to take the very good, the non-pharmaceutical interventions in the very early stage, just like take the mouth cover and good social distancing? I told them that because we saw the inequality of this disease. At that time, actually, we did not know whether these measures would work or not. We just wanted to eliminate inequality. They asked me, which kind of the inequality? I told them, the greatest inequality caused by COVID-19 is that the case mortality among the elderly is tens of times that among the young. That means for young, it's just a big flu, but for the older, it's a killer. Without strict non-pharmaceutical intervention, China might face with hundreds of millions of infections and millions of deaths, mostly among the elderly. For this reason, most of young people in China follow the government's advice and stay home, obey complete social distance, and wear masks without enforcement. We, experts from the healthcare, express deep respect to the people who are cooperating with these measures. I said, staying at home is also fighting the virus together with us. You are fighters. Doctors and the public health experts alone cannot overcome the epidemics. In the face of human disease of great inequality, In China, we just want to eliminate the inequality. Therefore, we follow the slogan, life first, people first. We are filled with joy now that all the elderly here are far away from the fear of the virus. Today, COVID-19 epidemic is under world control in countries around the world and that have received vaccines. The older people begin to come out to the society. The United States has started NBA games again, and nearly 20,000 people who have received the vaccines have started coming to the stadium to watch the game, which let us fulfill the confidence again of the human and the hope rises of the science. But the science alone is not enough, I think. As you know that recently, we have landed a human spacecraft on Mars. But we still cannot change the spread of the poverty and the infectious disease in many countries. The imbalance in vaccination, medical supplies in different countries actually affect the ultimate global successful control of disease. Historically, global pandemic prevention and control required global collaborations. The eradication of smallpox in 1979, a global effort to vaccinate against it, was a highlight in the history of the World Health Organizations. But today, things is different. At that time, despite the World War II and the Cold War, mankind has won the great battle against this common enemy, the virus. Now, more than 40 years later, COVID-19 is a global public health event that occurred at the time of great globalizations. Globalization is not the cause of the pandemic, while the failure to control it is precisely because the division of mankind. Perhaps the problem of globalization can only be solved through human solidarity. I believe that future of humans depends on whether the young people of the world can finally come together. And I think that it's the main reason why I think New York University Shanghai is more than any other famous university. In addition to NYU Shanghai, no matter it is NYU in New York or Fudan University in Shanghai, our graduates, just like you, will put your own lives into the world this year. Whether a university is great or not, I think it depends on whether its graduates can contribute to the world's inequality and development. Today comes at a time of global challenges of uncertainty. And I believe that the future of the world will be brighter because you graduate. Thank you very much.